This is the Sports Palace in Antwerp, Belgium. And in a short time, 17,000 people will fill these seats to witness a meeting of the top two players in the...
One test for Mayer will be how well McEnroe can get the first ball in. Because the second serve, you really have a much better play. And again, you see how John will attack at the moment he gets a short ball.
Well, he really made Jose Higueras look like the 77th player in the world yesterday, not the 7th. John comes in, you have to pass him. Certainly Gene Mayer has the capacity to place great shots.
15 all. There is a very pensive, reflective Gene Mayer. He's one of the brighter players on the tour. Went to Stanford University. Quite an intelligent player. And again, the first serve of McEnroe sets up the second shot. Really a spectacular crowd here, Al, as I look around the stadium. It's a huge velodrome for bicycle races, and they've really outfitted it with beautiful curtains and greenery everywhere, and people have flocked from all over Belgium to come to this match. The largest crowd of the entire tournament. They sold over 100,000 tickets during the weekend. There must be 13,500 here today. That's a great lob by Mayer. The trick to McEnroe when he comes in is to try to lob his backhand side. I feel his overhead is as good as any shot he possesses. And there was an unusual error, but he was off balance because Mayer lobbed the backhand side, and McEnroe tried to hit it with his forehand overhead. 30 all. And there is the two-hander we talked about. He just met that ball. He didn't swing hard. He just blocked it. But he used the pace beautifully. Look at that little stroke, a punch shot by Mayer, a little jab. And it catches McEnroe before he can get in and get set up at the net.
You mentioned how everything is green. Well, they even painted the roof outside this place, and it is huge, bright green. You can see it from miles around as you drive in on the highway here.
And there was a break point, and McEnroe answered it with a first serve.
They're a deuce in the opening game. There's that $1 million trophy right over McEnroe's shoulder.
Service ace. And that's what's so discouraging. Look at this perfect toss. Beautiful placement there by John. He knew it was an ace as it left his racket. Just kind of gently ran towards the net, but he knew it was not coming back. Another ace. And there are two perfect serves by McEnroe back to back, and that does not bode well for Gene Mayer.
Full house at the cavernous building known as the Sport Palace in Antwerp. And for our local cable systems, we will pause right now and return with more of the ECC final.
Serve. Here comes Mayer. Perfect shot. I don't think the problem is the noise of the crowd, Al. I think the problem is the velocity and placement of McEnroe's first serve.
30 love. You can see when Mayer plays either forehand or backhand side, he waits until it's almost too late. And that gives him the great cloaking disguise for his shots.
We have a big computer here by Data General right in front of us here with the scores and the percentages of serves and errors and winners. I want to thank them for their support. And again, John coming in with the overhead.
15.
Watch it here, because Mayer's half fouling that from the baseline. Look at John, shovels it. And again, he goes for the backhand side of McEnroe, but John covered that easily. And Mayer in trouble
30 all.
at 30 all. First game for his serve. He trails love one.
One of the keys for Gene Mayer yesterday against Yvonne Lendl was his ability to hold serve through thick and thin. It frustrated Lendl a great deal. And Mayer holds serve.
1 game all.
Games are 1-all. This match will be viewed all over the world. 4 Arabian countries: Hong Kong, Korea, the Philippines, Germany, Italy, France, of course the United States, and we'd like to welcome all those viewers down under watching this final on Channel 9 in Australia.
I wonder if our good friend David Hill, producer for Channel 9, is in the studio today, and he'll be working on this, or whether he's covering cricket. One never knows. It's the wild man David Hill. We want to say hello to him this afternoon in Sydney.
15 love.
Tennis is a religion in Australia, and the Australian Open coming up in 2 weeks' time it's the next major championship in the world following the European champions here. It's the 4th leg of the Grand Slam. It'll be played at Kooyong in Melbourne. For you Australians, I'm sure you'll be following it. McEnroe continuing to dominate with that pounding first serve.
McEnroe not very complimentary to the fans here yesterday. There was one brief outburst he had with the chair umpire, who stood up to him rather well. Fans booed McEnroe. Out.
Funny story, the chair umpire drove my wife and I home last night after the party, and he has a son, plays the tournament here, and he was saying to me, I didn't understand why McEnroe was upset with me. He said he was mad because there were 2 balls missing. He said, but he hit both those balls into the crowd, and I had to explain to him that it was his fault, which was kind of cute because it was true. McEnroe was wondering where the other 2 balls had gone, and he had put them into the stands.
Well, later on, he became even more incensed. During some courtside interviews following his victory, the fans stole his sweater.
Well, that was a shame because it was a mob scene down there. Now, Gene had a setup there either way and overhit.
14, 15.
1 game all.
Double fault. Mayer said, watch the line, double fault. John McEnroe has already beaten one Mayer in this tournament. He beat Gene's older brother, Sandy.
And not after being told he was down match point. And John's half volley hits the back edge of that baseline. Gene hoping it would go out. It skidded off the line, though, and he's held serve.
All right, these two players starting to get the rhythm. McEnroe leads Gene Mayer 2-1. The final match of the European Champions Championship in Antwerp is strictly prohibited. Gene Mayer will be serving at 1-2 in the opening set. Best 3 out of 5.
You know, I think that's Mayer's best play against McEnroe. If he can keep the ball deep on his backhand side, that's his only opportunity to really hurt McEnroe from the baseline. And when he attacks the net, he should also come in on the backhand of John. But it's hard to do. Lucky Letcourt drops in.
15-all.
They all count. 15-all. This crowd giving a lot of support to Gene Mayer. They'd like to see him make a battle of it.
15.
Now watch him catch it early. Look at that angle. The two-hander really gets him the quickness and the angle. And he took full advantage of that. Gene broke a string on that racket as he hit the overhead.
30-all.
Goes to one of his many Prince oversized rackets. It's got a blue leather grip there. It's a different grip than the normal one. A little stickier, a little softer. Mayer likes that kind of handle.
He was in no hurry to get that racket, was he?
No, he's a very thoughtful, pensive type player. He's not in any rush, and he doesn't get bothered by many things.
Of the players we've interviewed after matches on USA, I think Gene Mayer usually sums it up better than anybody.
He's very, very articulate, very bright. I think the chair umpire overruled and is going to give him 2 calls, 2 serves. Good all-court play by Mayer, using full abilities. He finally was defending here. Watch McEnroe attack. Gene goes with the lob, gets it deep. John can just play it back. Here comes Gene, and notice what he does. He attacks the backhand of McEnroe with the short ball. That's his best shot.
What do you think? I think that Gene showed John McEnroe very early in this match a couple of games ago that if he's going to come into the net, it better be perfect. That time, John waited on the baseline till well into that rally before he came to the net. And even then, Mayer pushed him back again.
I think Mayer has let John know that he can pass him quite comfortably unless he makes a great approach shot. There was a booming winner off a rally. And remember, that's John's forehand, which is his better weapon. Big shot. We're at 1-2, deuce.
McEnroe's had very little trouble with Mayer in the past. This is their 11th meeting. McEnroe's won 9.
Advantage.
How's the surface playing? Slow, but John had mentioned the balls are really moving.
John thinks it's slow, but they're using the pen ball here, and they're using the lighter one, which is a faster ball. They're using 6 balls and changing on 7 and 9 games, which is very short. Sometimes it's 13 and 11, but here it's 7 and 9, which means after the first rallies and the warm-up, they change on 9 games. So that's a quick change and a lot of balls in use, which means they'll be light and fast. And you see the great talent there of Gene Merritt net. He's an underrated doubles player. Watch it here now. He plays behind John. There's a little chip, and he hits the dink. And McEnroe makes a good effort here. Gene covers the last moment. McEnroe jumps over the ball boy to avoid kicking him. But Mayer is held with a beautiful little touch volley. 2 games all. First set.
Come on, 16 players began the first round, and then the top 8 seeds played the winners in the second round. So 24 players overall.
Nice, the line somewhat like the court.
Both of these players arrived here today under a huge police escort, and the way the traffic was outside, you needed it.
And again, an error on the backhand side by McEnroe. That's been his only weakness today. He's made 3 or 4 unforced errors here on the backhand side. It'd be very interesting if Gene Mayer can break here early in the first set. His confidence will soar. McEnroe will feel a little harassed and pressured. And we may see a real struggle. If John keeps serving well, he gets stronger and stronger. Just by about 3 inches.
15.
Mayer again, just barely missing on the cross court. The let cord pushes it wide.
First set.
Again, Mayer fields the lob and plays the backhand side of McEnroe, who misses.
That certainly had Gene Mayer running all over the court on the point. When it was over, Mayer on top.
McEnroe has made 7 unforced errors on that backhand here. 5 games. 2 all deuce. First set. And again, notice, Al, what he's doing when he when he goes with the lob, he really shovels it down the line way on the side of McEnroe's backhand. If he can get it off to the backhand side, John has to push off and rotate his shoulders from a bad position. And that's the only reason he misses the overhead, because that's his great shot. Gene has been spectacular in pinpointing the lob. Break point. Not a bad return, but it was called a fault. Pressure on McEnroe to make a good second serve right here. Forehand short, hits the net. And there's no answer for that kind of serving. A sigh and resignation. Right on the line, both ways. Perfect depth, perfect in the corner. And there again,
McEnroe.
a little unlucky, Al, that let court. He could have covered him. McEnroe was there with the ball dropping short.
McEnroe leads 3-2. The U.S. won the Davis Cup. Today they go against each other. This is the final of the European Champions Championship. Al Trautwig along with Donald Dell and you. We are in the Sport Palace in Antwerp.
Well, I love the way Mayer lined that ball up. He could have hit it either way. Stepped around, played it on his forehand side. Now watch here. It steps around and just drills it inside out. Very, very accurate shot there.
Mayer serving. Excuse me. Mayer serving 15-love and 2-3 for.
So Gene Mayer holds it love, and the people of Belgium are seeing first-class tennis here in the final, Al. Really a good match so far.
What is Mayer doing that's making him so successful at holding serve, not only today, but yesterday, too?
Well, he's catching the ball early off the pace of McEnroe and Lendl yesterday, but he's keeping his ground strokes very deep, and he's not making any errors. I mean, he's really hitting the ball hard with very few errors.
Match 33 minutes old, as you may have recognized on the scoreboard. 15:37 is the local time in Antwerp. 3:37 in the afternoon.
Look at that little volley there by John. He just scoops at it, shovels it into the open court. He is so darn talented at net. The way he holds the racket, the way he punches the volley, his footwork, his quickness. all so evident. Then again, he's number one in the world, and maybe that's why. Jimmy Connors, Ivan Lendl would dispute that. They feel they both have a claim to number one this year, and depends on the titles and the results.
Certainly a few scores will be settled at the Volvo Masters in January at Madison Square Garden. They'll all be there.
Well, I think with John McEnroe winning Wimbledon, Jimmy Connors winning the Open, Lendl, the defending champion at the Masters, it's going to be a tremendous battle there in the Garden, January 12th through 15th. We'll be bringing you the first 3 days on USA. Ace.
14-11.
Look at that. Gene Mayer had choked up the racket for the two-hander, and he conceded the point. You saw right there. An interesting angle.
That was McEnroe's third ace.
Let's go. 14-15.
A little careless on John's part. 40 love up, double faults.
McEnroe takes the game and holds serve. 4-3, a very tight opening set. This tournament not part of the Volvo Grand Prix, but as you can see, Volvo is firmly established as a sponsor here in Antwerp. And now these words from your local cable systems. Gene Mayer now serving 3-4, opening set.
Mayer always under pressure by McEnroe when he's serving. Let call. Now Gene knows he must spin a deep second serve, or McEnroe will attack. And there's the first bad error by Gene Mayer. That was not a tough shot.
We spoke yesterday about the eye problems that Gene Mayer had been having this year. And after chatting with him yesterday, we found out he cured it through vitamins.
McEnroe ran down that drop shot, but he not only got to it, he tried to hit a bolo punch with a lot of topspin. Now watch it here. He's really got to be quick. Normally you scoop it. Watch this. He gets to it and tries to roll it cross court, but it hits the net. Very tough shot with topspin. Ball so low, it's tough to make.
Mayer's problem was seeing the ball in different kinds of light.
He had a depth perception problem, really. And Gene sneaks into the net, makes a nice, comfortable volley for 30-15. Now watch the play here. Gene suddenly comes in on the backhand side, and look at that volley. Real good play by Mayer.
Come on. Out! 14-15.
John didn't like the call. I don't think he likes the way this match is going. He went over and kicked the wall a few minutes ago.
Oh, brother, he just nailed that backhand. Mayer discouraged because John hit a perfect shot.
14-13.
Now watch this again. Let cord. Gene shovels it. Now watch John. Boom.
That was
Steps into it.
Kind of discouraging, I would think.
Couldn't have hit a better shot. 40-30.
Mayer hits it out.
McEnroe again showing why he's a great talent as he ran down that volley.
I'm assuming, Donald, you're picking this match as McEnroe.
Well, I think on form, with this court indoors, you would go with McEnroe normally. He would be the favorite. It's because he serves so well indoors. There's no wind, there's no sun, there's no conditions. They're perfect for a server. Uh-oh. John really flagged that one. I don't think he thought Mayer was going to make the play and get the ball back.
I absolutely love watching him play the game.
John McEnroe.
Yep.
A lot of tennis fans in the world would agree with you. Gene Mayer has extricated himself to hold serve for 4-all. And McEnroe's mad about that volley. There's the Data General scoreboard we talked about earlier, and also they have a huge computer in front of all the television commentators' booths up here, so we have instant facts and figures on the statistics on the match. We thank them for their help.
Because we need it.
We have trouble adding and subtracting. Division is out of our control. The new math, Al, you'd have no chance. Gene Mayer was mumbling there about the bounce. He was talking about the way they laid the court down. Thought it was a bad bounce.
Watch it again.
Look at that perfect angle. Same wrist motion. He goes down the center as he goes wide. And that's what makes the serve devastating. The moment, the very moment of impact, John can change his wrist action and changes the direction. It's short. He's got it. Oh, no, the touch of the maestro. McEnroe shaking his head because he wanted to bang away that overhead. He was mad he got back. Now watch this point. Gene short with the lob. John pounds it. Mayer half volleys it. And look at the touch. The master. In close, McEnroe.
See those security guards in the background guarding the trophy. They give you one heck of a look if you get too close.
Your wife would give you a heck of a look if you get a little closer. Steal one or two of those. Poor girl's been wearing nothing on her hand for months. Lob volley. And McEnroe is just jerking him around like a yo-yo. Gene Mayer making a big effort. He's laughing, but inside he's probably seething. Now look at that save by John. Gene comes in, dinks it back. McEnroe with the lob volley. Mayer makes a great recovery here, goes wide. And look at John with another drop volley. But look at Mayer. Comes in and gets it, goes down the line, and McEnroe waits. Perfect anticipation.
How many times have we seen it? John McEnroe's opponent walking off the court, shaking their head in disbelief. That's what Mayer just did. We're in the opening set. 5-4 McEnroe. Mayer and John McEnroe in the singles final of the European Champions Championship. Mayer will be serving 4 games to 5. And John McEnroe waiting for some people to settle down and take their seats. Well, something's going wrong in the crowd, I think.
Slight altercation up there over seats.
Let's play. Come on.
Chair umpire Walter Lehmann says, let's play. Now Mayer must hold serve here at 4-5. Or the first set is gone. Good shot, no call.
15.
I love that volley. Mayer with a stop volley shovels it in close. That ball just died. Now watch here the angle he gets on this volley. He gets down low and he just drops it in there, and it bounces twice quickly before John can recover.
Would you rather see a best-of-5 set final or a best-of-3 set final?
Well, I think it's better for Mayer if it were best of 3, but I think it's better for tennis and the crowd if it's best of 5. Finals really should be a test a little differently than the other rounds. It's the big match of the tournament.
It's something that women's tennis is wrestling with now.
I think it'd be a disaster in women's tennis.
Well, they're going to give it a shot at the championships at the Garden in the spring.
I think they're doing it for the wrong reasons, but we'll come back to that in a moment. The reason I say I think it's a mistake in women's tennis, not a question of stamina or fitness or anything else, but the long rallies. You can see this replay here.
40.
And look at John covering the volley, stop volleys at Mayer way back behind the baseline, is now confronted with a 15-40 double set point.
Game and first set to McEnroe. 6 games to 4.
And so John McEnroe has broken through and won the first set, 6-4. Al, and this is just a personal opinion, I think women's tennis has a couple of problems from a spectator point of view. Number one, the top 3 or 4 seeds, and Everett or Martina, they really dominate most of the time, particularly Martina. And number 2, many times, depending on the surface, if it's on a clay court, for example, the rallies are endless, very, very long, slow rallies in women's tennis. Best of 5 set matches just accentuate both those problems. Martina's going to continue to roll over everybody because nobody's going to beat her in best of 5, in my opinion. And the rallies, if they go on and on and on, the matches could go 5-6 hours. Now, the women are certainly fit and capable of playing them, but I'm not sure from an entertainment point of view, just from a spectator value, that it's a smart thing to do.
Love 15.
A lot of people inside women's tennis feel the same way as you do.
Sure, I'll get lots of cards and letters on that one, but I really believe they're making a mistake.
All right, first game, second set. McEnroe serving. It's love 15.
Now, right here at the start of the second set, Mayer's got to get into the game. Can't let John start dominating with his first serve because he just wears you down, grinds you into the court.
See that huge green area in the background? That is actually part of the velodrome track here, just draped with green cloth. That's what this building is mostly used for. Here you can see the track as it curls around behind the stands.
Mayer played that perfectly until he over-hit the volley. And there's the ECC trophy in the background over Mayer's shoulder. As he goes back to play, you can see that gleaming gold light reflecting off the diamonds.
You like that look, don't you?
I like the diamonds. The look, I don't care so much about.
109 carats. Of course, the winner here will not get to keep that trophy. That requires 3 wins in a 5-year period, but they will get a replica worth considerably less than $1 million. Out by Mayer. 40-30.
Game to McEnroe.
McEnroe continuing to pound that first ball when it counts.
And so the second set underway, McEnroe holding serve. The opening set, it was McEnroe 6-4 over Gene Mayer. Second set just underway. Back to Antwerp on USA in a moment. 6 games to 4.
I don't believe that shot. That's to make a drop shot like that by Mayer that McEnroe can't run down. It's perfect.
I thought it sat up just a little too much.
He had a high coverage on that ball. It went over the net very high, and yet it dropped on the slice and just died. 15-love. Love won second set. And there you have it. That is an amazing shot that John just hit. Got to have a wrist of steel. If you look closely at his 2 elbows, his left elbow and forearm much bigger than his right.
John changed his shirt on the last changeover.
First serve.
That was unbelievable. That shot was so close to the net.
See it again. He thought this ball was out. But John shovels the drop shot right on the line. Mayer thought that return to serve was long over the baseline, but linesman said no. The chair umpire did not overrule. And we're at 30-all.
One of these jerks called it. They're both on the line and they missed that call.
I don't know why the crowd is clapping. I don't know if they understand what Mayer's saying, but it's calling the linesman a jerk. they're clapping. They must have thought it was out. A long machine. Great point here for John. And he's got it. And now Mayer knows he's in deep trouble.
Walter Lehman, the chair umpire, telling the crowd it is now 2-love as a result of that service break. One thing Mayer talked about yesterday was stopping the momentum of the top players and stopping it early. This is one of those times where if he doesn't stop McEnroe, McEnroe's going to be off and running. You can see how the fans are packed all the way up to the huge wooden roof here at the Sport Palace.
And that little return there was short, and it drops in off the lead cord. Love 15. 2 love. Second set. McEnroe way around on that foot when he goes to serve. Has his left foot way behind to make his shoulders get into the shot. He has to rotate his shoulders and into the serve. Very unorthodox. There's Pierre Darmon, the tournament director here at Antwerp, the ECC. Pierre, French Davis Cup player and captain, finalist in Roland Garros. Great player in his own right, created this event, and should be very, very proud of the achievements in such a short 2 years. Over 100,000 people have been here this week in Antwerp. And now Gene Mayer's got a good play here. Love 40, triple break point. And McEnroe's going to take a lot of time. I don't know what they're booing about.
Well, a couple of moments ago, McEnroe went over and kicked the wall a couple of times, and that brought out a small reaction. Then he just slammed the ball into the net. I don't know whether that's the case or not.
Second serve. Mayer can break his first service here. Just wide.
So John saves one. And the crowd is jeering and whistling every time McEnroe makes a mistake. Certainly not the favorite here like he was at Wembley last week. Service break.
And boy, does Mayer need that to stay in this match. He was out of it if John could keep holding, and you see the scoreboard there. It's only 2-1 now for McEnroe, but Mayer to serve. Back on serve.
Well, Mayer told us yesterday, as we mentioned a few moments ago, how important it was to slow down the momentum. He's done that. Service break against McEnroe. He still leads in the second set 2-1. Singles final of the ECC, the European Champions Championship. No doubles here. Mayer serving at 1-2. Almost effortlessly, it's easy for me to say, McEnroe with a cross-court winner from the baseline.
It's harder for you to pronounce it than it is for him to hit it.
I'll tell you.
Oh, beautiful shot by John. The level of tennis, really first class here in the finals. Now watch, he spins him wide. He got the open court. And Mayer comes in. The ball's a little short. McEnroe just enough time to hit it cross court on the dead run.
$15-30.
15-30. Gene Mayer knows he has to get into this set. Keep it even. Don't let John get far ahead. Easier said than done.
$15-40.
This is obviously not in the Mayer grand plan. He just worked so hard to break John McEnroe, and now he's got 2 break points against him in the next game.
Game to McEnroe. 3-1. He leads.
Well, you saw it. The crowd's oohs and ahs told the story. McEnroe now leading 3 games to 1.
They turn that around quickly. 2 breaks back to back, 1 each. The result is the same. John is ahead 3-1 and in control. Best rally from the baseline by Mayer. Kept hitting the second shot harder and harder.
Love 15.
Keeps the ball deep. Here comes John. And look at the angle by Gene Mayer. McEnroe is relentless. He just doesn't make careless errors when he's volleying, and he doesn't seem to be tiring.
You said it to him yesterday, and I was shaking my head in agreement while I was listening to your interview with him. He looks crisper. He looks sharper. He looks fresher than the other players.
Much more eager than everybody else.
Certainly a lot more eager than Jimmy Connors has looked in the past couple of weeks.
Well, Jimmy's been very tired. He's played 7 weeks in a row and certainly can tell the difference. Volley by McEnroe has been so effective in moving Mayer around. Watch it here. He drops shots. Mayer will come in. He gets it. McEnroe with the lob volley over the backhand side. Mayer comes back with a high lob, and McEnroe is there.
He didn't place that lob the same way he placed others earlier in the match.
Well, he was in a terrible position. He's back to the net. We're 30-all, 3-1 here in the second set.
This will do it for 1983 in our tennis coverage. What a month we've had. We've been to Stuttgart for women's tennis, Tokyo for the men, London for the men, Florida for the women. And here we are in Antwerp. We'll be back in January, 3 days to the Volvo Masters, so look for us then.
40-30.
McEnroe takes the game firmly in control in the second set. And for our local cable systems, we'll pause on USA. 9 broadcast booths overlooking center court in Antwerp. Paint a happy picture for Gene Mayer, not right now. Down a set, down 1-4 in the second.
Drops in.
15-love.
There's the scoreboard we've been talking a lot about. 4:17 in the afternoon. The match 1 hour, 13 minutes old. Mayer was joking yesterday. Someone asked him, who would he rather play, Higueras or McEnroe? He said, who's ever playing worse?
Yeah. Who knows who that's going to be? It's not going to be McEnroe.
30-15.
Make those.
30-all.
They're hanging on by a thread here at 1-4. He goes up 40-30.
Game to make.
John doesn't know how it happened, but it did. Mayer up on the board. 4-2. McEnroe still leads second set. New balls being put into play.
Remember, there's 6 new balls, which means that they get infrequent use individually and they stay very light and fast.
Some of the fabulous hosts here in Antwerp. There's a veritable army of them, all on a first-name basis with our producer Gordon Beck, by the way.
John holds up the new balls. 4-2.
15 love.
Ace. It's been a while since McEnroe served up one of those.
Now John is really in the rhythm now. Look at that slice, perfect. That's his best shot in the backhand side, the ad court. He can pull you all the way into the men's room in that first row. And again, the booming overhead. We just got a flash here from the News Bureau that the 100,000 seats this week is an indoor record for the largest crowd of a tennis tournament indoors ever played in Europe. Congratulations to the tournament committee here, Pierre Darmon and Jacques Warnu.
Game to McEnroe.
Done a fabulous job here at promoting and presenting a great event. McEnroe is worthy of it as he goes up 5-2 here in the second set.
Able to stutter John just a little bit, but it doesn't take much for John to get right back on track. Second set continues in a moment. In trouble. 2-5 and down a set.
Gene Mayer's in the uncomfortable position of trying to figure out what to do next, what to change, because the way the match is going, it's slipping by him, and he recognizes that. He's going to try to hold and break, but he's trying to figure out the best way to do that. There with that two-hander flick. Just a little slap shot. Now watch it here. He moves into it and flicks it. But look at the quickness of that ball coming down the line. 40 love.
$40-15.
And it all matters to Gene Mary. He stays in the set on the let cord. He goes down the line here, and the ball hits right on the top, pauses, and then drops over. 5-3 to McEnroe. Can he serve out the set?
Two Stanford boys on the court.
That's true. McEnroe went 1 year. Gene Mary graduated.
1 year McEnroe was there. Stanford won the NCAA title in 1978.
Oh! 15 love.
Gene was an All-American at Stanford.
30 love.
And boy, when he needs it, McEnroe can pull that string. Big left arm with the slice serve. We've talked about it over and over, but he continues to do it.
His body spins and turns every which way. He makes the tough shot on that ball that places in the corner, then comes around and misses the relatively easy one. What's going through the head of Gene Mayer right now? Down 2 sets, 6-4 the first, 6-3 the second. He's putting up a great fight, but he's going down.
Well, he's thinking to himself, I got to completely change here because John's doing everything just a little better. And except for one break of serve, Mayer's really never headed him at all. He's always struggling from behind. I'd like to see him come in a lot more, but that's not his style of play.
McEnroe once again has changed shirts. For those of you who keep track of those things, it is shirt number 3.
Good serve by Gene.
I know Barry McKay always liked to keep track of that.
Flash balls.
Now, and Matt Mayer had a good point right there. He asked no flash bulbs. And there was a big flash just down on that last point, which really does bother the players. They can't see the ball. 30 love, first game, final, third set. McEnroe would like to make it the final set.
40 love.
Double fault for Gene Mayer. His first.
Game to Mayer.
Game to Mayer, and McEnroe tosses his racket aside.
I don't know why he gets so active, because the crowd then climbs on him a little bit and boos him.
And once again, Mayer very strong with his serve. He leads 1-love as we begin the third set. You're watching it on USA.
Today.
Serve and go up 1-love. Here's McEnroe.
And this is the first time in the match Gene Mayer's been ahead, as John opened the match with his serve and has been in front for 2 sets. Mayer finally has his head above water. 1-love here in the third. Let's see if he can break. Look at this volley. Mayer saves it on the fly, and McEnroe knifes the backhand. Mac the Knife is his nickname among the players, and that's because of the knifing volleys on the backhand side. He misses one.
15-all.
Reminds me a little bit of Muhammad Ali in his heyday, standing in the center of the ring saying, come on, try and beat me. Because he stands at the net so defiant.
He's every bit as good as Ali was a boxer. What a remarkable record. 1 or 2 the last 3 years in the game. Take your pick.
First service.
Marvelous play by John.
15.
Now look at that return, and he just lays in front of it, catches the half volley, flicks his wrist for a perfect winner. You have to hit the ball way in front of you on that half volley to make a shot like that.
Game to McEnroe.
And John bounces back quickly, as he has each and every time Gene Mayer has seen any kind of light. Match 1 hour 32 minutes. There you see the third set score to the right, 1-all. 6-4 first set, 6-4, 6-3 second set. All McEnroe.
Nogmaals stilte tijdens de balwisselingen alstublieft.
Chair umpire Walter Lehman. Tennis spectator point of view, if a guy pays $25 to come here and wants to yell for his player, his opponent, or gets into a match and thinks there's a bad call, I think he should be able to yell.
I agree with you. I mean, the way Mayer talked to the chair umpire, you'd think he was the one personally responsible for the outburst.
Well, he's frustrated. He's just trying to get him to control the crowd, but A, I don't think it's doable, and B, I'm not sure that it's the right thing. Oh. Mayer hanging in there, 30-15, 1-all. He certainly looks fit, not tired, but trying to figure out how to meet the power of McEnroe. See the grip, Mayer's way down on the handle. Almost, his hand is maybe half an inch over the butt of that racket. Very unusual serve grip.
Gene Mayer beat Mel Purcell, Jose Luis Clerc, and Yvonne Lendl for the upset of the tournament. To reach this final, John McEnroe had a little bit of an easier path, beating Claudio Panada, Sandy Mayer, and Jose Higueras. Higueras was the man who engineered the Jimmy Connors upset in the quarterfinals.
She changed her call. They'll have to play that over. I don't think she saw the ball bounce on the line because the McEnroe blocked her view. She has changed her call, the line's person, and Mayer will get 2 serves.
$30-40.
30-40, and this gets Gene in trouble. Break point to John. Careless error. Mayer trying to run around and hit a forehand. Hooks it about 4 inches wide and over the baseline as well. Break point again to McEnroe. Add out. And he's got it. Mayer, a scoop forehand, makes 2 forehand errors there at deuce, back-to-back, and he's in trouble.
Certainly is. 2-1. McEnroe leads. Up a break for our local cable systems, bringing you USA Network from Maine to Hawaii. We will pause.
It's good. It's skidded off the line. John thought it was going wide, but he knows it took a skip and a hop, which means it hit the edge of the line. Players generally know by the bounce that that ball caught a piece of the line. Love 15. McEnroe holds again for 3-1. Now the psychological damage that McEnroe does when he's serving so well, you just get discouraged. I mean, every big point he's pounding that first ball or slicing it wide.
And then coming into the net.
And making a good first volley. And there tends to be a period after a set or so that he wears you down mentally. You just know he keeps coming at you and he keeps hitting good shots. Gene Mayer is flicking shots off both sides, but percentage-wise, McEnroe continuing to be in control.
No flash.
Someone else took a flash picture.
No flash.
That's a problem because Gene Mayer wears contact lenses and had a lot of trouble with his eyesight and his depth vision this year. And he gets very bugged by that. They've asked everybody, made the announcement several times, but a few people continue to disregard it. But it's a good return by John.
30-15.
He is still very much in the match. John McEnroe is in the lead, 3-2. Big crowd looking on at the Sport Palace in Antwerp. Not too far from Brussels. Certainly Belgium's most famous city. This is known as the City of Diamonds. McEnroe is really ticked at himself.
He's just disgusted at missing a volley. He's mad at himself, not anybody else. The crowd reacts because they don't understand it.
Got some people sitting behind us. They just laugh uncontrollably when McEnroe does the slightest little thing. They're really enjoying watching him.
He is not laughing, however.
No.
Oh boy, good angle by Mayer, but not high enough.
30-15.
Absolute perfect play by Mayer. Cannot hit a better return and follow it up with a lob volley. Perfect shot. Now watch this. He goes back at McEnroe, catches the second shot, and shovels it over his head quickly. And John concedes the point, knowing he can't reach it. All, 3-2 to McEnroe. 2 sets to love to John. He's about 3 service games away from winning $200,000 in the first leg of the $1 Million Diamonds Cup. And they're not kidding. They're 1,421 diamonds in that cup. Now Mayer's saying 2 balls. Let's see that call there. They're going to play it over.
I'll say this, Gene's record on complaints and call reversals today is very good.
What does that mean?
I remember 3 or 4 times when he's complained in this match when the calls have been
overturned
in his favor.
McEnroe not doing much complaining, occasionally mad at himself, but not anything else. Over 13,000 people here in the Antwerp Sports Palace, a huge barn-like building with a velodrome, repainted, refurbished. All. You gotta see it to believe it. Mayer hits a beautiful cross-court shot. McEnroe. Now watch this, because right there is a beautiful shot. What does McEnroe do? He hits a perfect drop volley. Mayer barely can reach it and nets it. But boy, is that discouraging for Mayer, because he hit a great shot and McEnroe hit a better return. 40-30.
Game to McEnroe.
Beautiful first serve down the middle, crossed him up.
4 games to 2.
McEnroe now leads 4 games to 2. Once again, Mayer will serve.
Tell you what, Mayer doesn't feel he's playing badly. He's just not winning the big points. And he's not winning many on the serve.
Well, he's serving first serve percentage 63% as they're putting new balls in play. So that percentage-wise, he's doing very, very well. McEnroe is serving right about where he can be very effective, 57%.
2-4, Mayer to serve. Third set, McEnroe up 2 sets to love. New balls. Mayer likes to volley. And watch the overhead here. Not too deep, but he knocks it off. That grip on the serve way behind the racket.
15-all.
He flags it. Let the racket follow through high, and the ball carried out.
30.
Mayer trying to get out of the way because if it had hit him, touched any part of his clothing, it would have been McEnroe's point, even though it was sailing out.
30-15. Called out. Mayer absolutely has to hold it, because if he does not, McEnroe would be serving for the match.
Tremendous height on that lob, but it carried over. John taking lots of time. He's not tired, but he's pacing himself very smartly.
Game to Mayer.
And Mayer with a good first serve stays alive in this match.
He had to hold, and he did. McEnroe still leads in the third set, 4-3. Remember, this is best 3 out of 5 sets. The loser here, we can tell you that he will receive $130,000. U.S. Open was worth $120,000, so that would make the loser's prize here bigger than the U.S. Open winner's prize. McEnroe up 2 sets to love. 6-4, 6-3, and now 4-3.
These players are not playing for the love of the game. That is for sure. As well they shouldn't, they're professionals.
15 love.
I just sort of get a kick out of all the business we're hearing in America about the Olympic ideals and the love of the sport. And 97% of every Olympic athlete in the world is a professional. They just don't call it that. They define it differently, and it kind of bugs me.
30 love.
30 love to McEnroe. The tennis rules concerning the Olympics are totally bizarre.
Total farce. Anyone 21 years of age and under can play, so Andrea Jaeger or Mats Wilander or Jimmy Arias, all millionaires in tennis, can compete against the amateurs of Eastern European who are government-controlled and government. Anyway, back to the tennis. McEnroe
40 love.
is continuing to dominate with that first serve. Just 40 love. 4-3, third set. Danielle Smart. You know, a good example of the difference is the millionaires in tennis can compete, and they're taking Ingemar Stenmark. He can't compete because he has a B card, which allows him to get whatever that means, allows him to have endorsements, but he doesn't announce how much, so they won't let him compete and skiing. A little bit of inconsistency, and the reason for that is every national association of individual sports sets their own qualifications for entry and eligibility for the Olympics. So it's a mishmash.
Correct. It's a correct call.
The linesman called out. The chair umpire has said, good ball.
Oh, boy, this crowd is giving McEnroe no slack at all.
I take it. I don't know what they finally called on that.
I just know that the ball is way in. What do you see there?
That sounded really out, Mr. McEnroe.
Mayer said the ball wasn't in, it was way in. And McEnroe said he just told you it was way in. Aren't you going to overrule the out call? Walter Lehman there in the chair holds his ground and says, I'm not going to change it.
It's not even close.
Mr. Mayer has shown out.
Well, that means you shouldn't be in the chair, but it was good.
Mayer said the ball was good, but it doesn't matter what Mayer says. He's not calling the lines.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 14.
Thank you for saying I should be.
Well, the chair umpire has acceded, said to Mayer, thank you for calling it. He gives the point to McEnroe. McEnroe's thanked Mayer, and it's all a lot of baloney. Because Mayer and McEnroe don't call the lines. That's why they have linesmen. The crowd very appreciative of Mayer's good sportsmanship. And now the score has been changed. It's 40-15. McEnroe awarded the point.
You know, I love it. I never know where you stand on these things. You're always hiding your emotions. Not fair. And we're back where we started, 40-30.
Exactly. And McEnroe has the first serve coming up for 5-3. And there it is.
Game to
And you
McEnroe.
see why he is #1 in the world on an indoor court.
5 games.
And how many players would do what Mayer just did? Standing
Well,
on
Gomez did it in his match against Lendl the other night after being up match point. When he lost the final point of the match, he overruled the umpire to award the match to Lendl. Changed the call, and it was on match point. There you see that scoreboard, Mayer trailing.
Still goes to me.
2 sets to love, 3-5. The match 1 hour and 58 minutes old. And Gene comes in with the leap.
15 love.
Here he comes. John off balance, pops it up, and Gene plays behind him. Let ball, good.
13 love.
Mayer looking as good as ever. 40 love.
14 love.
On.
14-15.
Gene Mayer must hold this game or he's out of the match. But he's got a 40-15 lead.
Game to Mayer.
Gene Mayer takes the game, stays close, but isn't enough. McEnroe 5 games to 4 in the third set. You're watching the European Champions Championship on USA Network from Antwerp, Belgium. And at the Sport Palace, when we come back, McEnroe serves for $200,000. Points away from this very, very wealthy title.
Holy cow, Mayer scrambled at it, scooped it up. Now they called it out. Second serve. See if we can see it here. Well, we really can't. Mayer covered us. But they're going to play it over. Second ball. Fault call by the chair umpire. Look at McEnroe. There, hit 3 good shots. McEnroe hits 4 good volleys and ends the rally.
15 love.
See the lob. Gene saves it with a little punch. Look at the cross court. Sharply hit. And the drop volley, and that is where McEnroe kills you in close. He can hit that drop volley off either forehand or backhand, and he really wins a lot of points. 15 love.
30 love.
30 love, 2 points from match. And $200,000 to John McEnroe, and a leg up on that $1 million Diamonds Cup. The winner would have to win the cup 3 years out of 5.
And if McEnroe and Lendl come back next year, that would make next year's battle very, very interesting.
Absolutely.
Triple match point.
And McEnroe has never looked stronger for 3 sets on his serve in 1983 than right here in Antwerp. Match point, the crowd yelling.
Still alsjeblieft.
There it is.
There it is. The volley was good on the baseline. Mayer couldn't handle it. McEnroe's asking him to cover up his clothes there. He had a sweater stolen. He's very happy, smiling at Gene Mayer. They're good friends off the court. And John McEnroe has won $200,000. 6-4, 6-3, 6-4, and he only lost serve once the entire afternoon, and that was the difference. His tremendous serving, and watch set point, which is match point. He shovels the volley very deep. Mayer off balance. Nets it to the bottom of the net, and John McEnroe is the 1983 European champion.
2 hours, 5 minutes, 4, 3, and 4. John McEnroe, $200,000 richer. For Gene Mayer, $130,000. Quite a battle put on by these two.